Hi everyone. Today I will recommend you to bookmark this video if you are trying to learn any cloud and you are not familiar with basic things about DevOps. In today video, I am going to give you a step-by-step guide to deploy simple Python project on virtual machine. This same process you can apply to any project and of course there are another way to deploy on cloud, but by using this process also you can deploy any software in a scalable manner. Hi, please note, in this video I'm not going to cover Kubernetes deployment with CI/CD pipeline. I have a plan to create a separate video for this. In this video we will talk about deploying any application in a Docker form on a virtual machine, then creating an instance group, then backend, and attaching this to load balancer. So I will talk about starting for GCP account creation to VPC setup. All complete things I am going to cover in this video. Maybe you can, with this video, you can create one GCP account and you can follow this process. Okay, so let's start. In this slide you can see what is the topic I'm going to cover in this video. uh,
Before we start this video, I just want to give you a quick intro of this channel. Uh, I have 12 plus year of experience, around 10 year of experience I have in an Indian healthcare startup. I mostly joined this company in an early stage. That means I got gone through all the product development life cycle. And in tech side, I got opportunity to work on app coding, web front-end coding, back-end coding, cloud. I got opportunity to work on multiple clouds, security, compliance. I got opportunity to work on machine learning, prompt engineering. So in this channel, I am planning to share some of my practical tips, my team management skills. I will also tell you how you should start your software journey.
okay, so step number one is you first need to create a Google account, and when you are creating a Google account they will give you a 300 credit. I think that will be a sufficient for you to complete the demo. In next video maybe I'll complete the Kubernetes so you can complete both demo with this account. Okay, so first step in any cloud is VPC network setup. In VPC, you define your subnet. So broadly, you have a virtual private network. Within the virtual private network, you have a multiple subnet. In subnet, you actually deployed your service. So in subnet level, you can define either it's a private subnet or public subnet. Difference between public and private subnet is you can't directly reach to private subnet from internet. So if you want to go to the private subnet, you need to first go to the public subnet and then you can reach to private subnet. One simple example of this is, let's say you have a REST API in Python that is deployed on public subnet, and you have a database that is deployed on virtual private subnet. So broadly you understand what is difference. You can read more about it. Then you are also defining a region, so in which region you are trying to create this VPC. And once you have a region clear, you have a subnet clear, now you can create a firewall rule is like how you want to access your particular subnet, or you want to create a multi, you can also define multiple tags there. This can be used while you are creating any virtual machine, or you are creating any cloud function. You can use these rules. So I hope now you have completed VPC creation in your Google Cloud. Next step is virtual machine creation. So virtual machine creation is like you can go to any virtual machine section. In section you will find a button called create instance. After that you need to define name. You will define your machine type. This part is very important because machine type is going to help you, uh, and also this is going to impact your cost. So you need to understand these things properly. For example, if I have to deploy a machine learning related software, then I need high configuration machine. There I need more memory, right? If I am deploying anything which require more computation, then I have to select different machine type. So machine type you can check Google, and there you will find all the machine type. You will find what is the CPU, what is the memory, and what is the cost, per hour cost. So this is you need to check this properly. For this demo you can select EC2 micro instance, because we are not going to deploy machine learning. It's just a simple Flask demo project. Okay, then you have to select a region. You need to select wisely, because this you need to deploy this virtual machine in your created VPC, right? So you have to select a region according to your VPC. Let's say if you have created VPC in US East, then you have to select US East here, and then you have to select a zone, because this is a REST API or simple Flask application deployment. I need to select a public subnet there. So once this step is done, you need to select either you want a Ubuntu or window. I usually prefer Ubuntu in most of the case, but it depends on your application nature, right? So once you selected the Ubuntu here, then you have to in Firewall, of course, you need to enable HTTP and HTTPS for this virtual machine, because this is going to expose to internet. And after that you just hit on click, your virtual machine will create. This usually take 1 or 2 minutes. After that your machine will be ready. Next step is come to your local machine. Now create a simple Flask or any project. Let's say if you are familiar with Node, you can create Node project. Java, then you can create in Spring Boot. Just create one simple project. Do not complicate this for this demo. Once your project is ready, now you can create a Docker file. So there will be one Docker file in your project. There, if you are creating a Flask project, you can paste this Docker code in your Docker file. Now your Docker file is also ready. Before that, make sure you have a requirement.txt file. If that is not there, you can run the pip command to create this file, because this is going to install all the plugins which is required in your project. So this is important. If you see this Docker process, it's a very simple. It's taking the Python, creating a work directory, then copying a project, your project, then installing the plugin. After that, exposing to 8000 port, and after that it's running your application class. Okay, and next step is, once now your project is ready, a local project is ready, you have a file. Now it's time to upload your Docker image to Docker provider. For Docker provider, maybe either you can use Docker Hub or GCP artifact. It depends on you. I have given an example by using Docker Hub, but it depends on you. Okay, so once you have a Docker setup ready, you need to first install your Docker in your local. Then you have to log into Docker provider. That means, for example, you have a Docker Hub, then you have to complete the complete installation process, right? After that, you need to create a Docker image. So go to your project directly, run this command to create a first Docker image. Once your Docker image is done, now you can push this Docker image to Docker Hub. If you are using Google Artifact, of course you can push to Google Artifact. This is a simple process. Okay. Now I am sure you know about the Docker, so I'm not going into that detail. Next step is, now your local Docker image is already uploaded to your Docker Hub. Now come to your GCP machine. You just created one virtual machine, right? In that virtual machine, first you need to SSH. So you can, in GCP, you can go through their terminal. In right side, you can, when you click on it in SSH, you will get last option to run SSH command in their machine, in cloud infra. So you first do the SSH there. There are other way also. It depends on your. You can choose one of the option. Just do the SSH. After that, you need to run some of the command to install a Docker. You can go through one by one. Once you complete this process, after that you have installed your Docker in your product virtual machine. Next step is you need to take pull of your image, Docker image. So Docker, or whatever Docker image you have pushed from local machine to Docker Hub, that Docker image you need to pull here, and after that you need to run this Docker image in container. And there is one more step. You need to persist this Docker container. This step is required because sometime, because of downtime or any other region specific problem, your virtual machine will restart. So you need some sort of production there. Whenever there is any restart in virtual machine, your Docker should automatically restart. So this step is important. You need to just run this command. Next step is like, now if you see your project is running even in Docker, so you can access through public IP of your virtual machine. You can access through, in if you see this Docker container, you are taking requests from 80 port, and that is a default port, and then you are redirecting to 8000 port. So your Docker is now up and running. Here, next step is you should configure reverse proxy there. A reverse proxy is something which will, let's say, right now you have one application, but there can be a scenario. Let's say you have a microservice, so you have a multiple Docker image, not just one Docker image, and every Docker image will run on different port. So you need some sort of reverse proxy which will take a request from load balancer, and after that redirect to different Docker image according to URL path. So let's say, in simple word, let's say if I'm getting request for user microservice, then I will redirect to user Docker image, in by using the Nginx. So Nginx will provide you to, broadly, two things in layman term. One is like it will redirect your traffic to one place to another place, and also here you can add some sort of cache if you want. This is also this can be also used as a load balancer in some of the application. So right now we are only using for reverse proxy, just for switching the, just redirecting traffic to another microservice. Okay, here are some of the commands. You can go through it one by one. Install Nginx, then you need to start Nginx, enable Nginx, and then you have to verify if Nginx is running or not. After that, you need to, in Nginx, you already have default file there in site available. If not there, you can create new one. So just run this command sudo nano, and you can create one file there. Ideally, in complex system, we have a multiple file site, Nginx configuration in site available folder. But because this is a demo, we are just creating one simple default file there. Then you can paste this code. If you see this code, Nginx code, it's taking request from 80, and then it is redirecting to 8000 ports. We are not, you have, please note, we have not added any kind of SSL things here. That things we will handle through load balancer in this demo. Of course, if you want some layer of SSL here, you can do that. But this is broadly taking your load balancer will take care of HTTPS stuff. Your application virtual machine will take a request from there and redirect to your application. Okay, so till now I believe you have completed the Nginx things. You have your application is running, your Nginx is done, and you now if you want to test, you can just take a public IP of your virtual machine, just hit on browser, it will redirect to Nginx. If you want to see either it's reaching to Nginx or not, in Nginx you can run the command to see the access log and error log. That will tell you either if you are getting a request or not. If you are not getting a request, maybe because your port is not enabled. Second thing, maybe you have not defined your you have not selected right subnet. Maybe you have selected private subnet, so then you can't reach directly, right? And also you need to make sure like you have added selected a proper firewall. That means your HTTP and HTTPS is enabled for this virtual machine. So I believe your this part is done. If you are facing any issues, you just ping me in a comment, I'll help you. Okay, so next step is creating a load balancer. So a load balancer have a structure like your DNS provider or Cloudflare will redirect your traffic to load balancer. Now, in load balancer, there are a front end, like there you defined either you are going to take HTTP request or HTTP request only. Those kind of things you can define there. In backend, you create a backend. So when you create a backend, you need to select instance group. That's why first step is create an instance group. Instance group is basically a because you have a virtual machine, right? So virtual machine, you need multiple virtual machine to tackle your load. You can't handle your complete website volume or complete API volume with one virtual machine, right? Because every virtual machine has a limitation. So you need horizontal scaling. You need a multiple virtual machine based on, let's say, CPU utilization or memory utilization. You want to keep adding more virtual machine there. That's why this instance group is required. So first you need to create an instance group. In instance group you can select manage instance group or unmanaged instance group, depends on you. Okay, sometimes I select unmanaged because I know my user base or traffic, uh, and if I know that, then I can check on cost by doing unmanaged instance group. Although in production nowadays everyone is using CI/CD and Kubernetes. For that, of course, I'll create a separate video, but in this video you can go through it. Okay, so create a manage instance group. There you can define what is your auto scaling property, how what kind of things you want to consider while scaling this instance. You need to select a region and zone wisely, because this is directly linked with your virtual machine and linked with your VPC. Choose instance template here, you because this is your first time, so you can create your first instance template. This there you actually define what is your configuration of virtual machine, because this template is going to help to create a virtual machine in case of load. Define number of instance, how many instance you want to keep. So for example, if I know I have let's say 10,000 requests in a day, so that means uh, by knowing my application, I know two machine is able to successfully handle this traffic. So I will keep two machine always up. And in case of any, let's say, CPU spike more than 40% in any of virtual machine, I will add one more virtual machine. So those kind of things you can configure here in instance group. When your instance group is ready, now come to your load balancer. Here just click on load balancer, then you will get multiple option of type of load balancer. There you can select application type. uh, there are others type of load balancer as well. You can read about more about type of load balancer there. So first you have selected application type of load balancer, then you have to select the zone. For this demo you can select single zone. After that, in load balancer there are three sections. You have a front end. There you define either you want http request on this load balancer, or you only want https request. Those kind of things you can define in front end section. When you are selecting https, you have a two option. Either you can create google managed ssl, or you, if you already have godaddy or other platform ssl, so you can add uh, add in Google, and then you can connect to this load balancer. So selecting HTTP or HTTPS and SSL is part of front end. Then next step is backend. In backend you need to select your when you create a backend, then you have to select what is your health check URL, uh, which machine you are going to select, uh, uh, what is a time for your backend. So those kind of things you can configure in backend. First time you need to create a new backend. Next time going forward, when you edit this load balancer, you need to this your backend will be auto selected there, so you don't need to create multiple time. Okay, so once, so this will create a backend will indirectly connect to your instance. I mean, while creating a backend you have selected your previously created instance group, right? Next step, third step is you need to define host and path. Here basically, because load balancer is, you will get all kind of requests to your load balancer. Your one load balancer can handle multiple traffic. It can handle all your microservice requests, or it can handle back and front end requests sometime also. Like, so for example, you have a react, you can handle this traffic should go to this another virtual machine where you have deployed front end. Or you are getting API request, you can redirect to another virtual backend, right? So host and path section, you need to define the path, and then you have to select a backend. In your demo there is only one backend, so you can this will be automatic selected. Okay, so you don't need to make any change for this demo. For learning purpose you can click on add and you can understand. Let's say you can redirect, you can create multiple routes there. So I'm just saying you can read more about it if you want. Okay, after that you can review all the configuration and then just click on it. Okay, so now your load balancer is ready. Once your load balancer is ready, you will get one load balancer IP. That IP you can hit on browser and you can check if your request from load balancer is reaching to your virtual machine or not. If you are facing any issue, first you need to check either your load balancer is up or running or not. Maybe your health check is not working. Health check is basically a URL where you check your load balancer will keep checking like your virtual machine is ready or not. If let's say your virtual machine is not ready, load balancer will create another virtual machine, because load balancer need healthy instant virtual machine, right? Healthy backend basically. So load balancer is connected to backend is connected to instance group, and instance group have multiple virtual machine. You got this structure, right? So now your load balancer is ready. Now it's time to, because you're, whenever you are hitting any website, let's say you are hitting google.com, so basically you are hitting to DNS. Google.com is a DNS, right? So DNS, well, DNS, you have purchased this DNS from somewhere, maybe GoDaddy or some other platform, right? Let's assume you have created one DNS from GoDaddy. Okay, now this IP you need to add in your DNS provider, because you need to redirect your request on DNS to this load balancer. Maybe you do not want all requests come to this load balancer, right? So those kind of things you need to add a record in your GoDaddy. If you have after GoDaddy you also have a, let's say, Cloudflare, so you need to add in Cloudflare. uh, I usually recommend people to use Cloudflare because you can add some sort of security layer there. Okay, now let's okay, I believe I just want to show you this. Okay, so first you are getting a request from DNS, then it is coming to Cloudflare, then it is coming to your load balancer. Load balancer has VM selection based on your auto scaling and configuration. Okay, after VM selection, it will reach to reverse proxy will reach to your application. There you have a middleware controller to handle the request, right? This way your request actually reaches to application. Okay, of course this is not a foolproof architecture. This architecture is you can start for any small setup. Let's say you are running a small startup and you do not want to spend lot on cloud, you can start with this process. This will work. Of course, if you want more automation, more scalable things, you can go with the Kubernetes, although this is also a good scalable, right? I have seen many company have this architecture. Okay, it's not like everyone have a Kubernetes. Especially if you are deploying a machine learning, those kind of things, you will find this kind of architecture. Okay, thank you. In next video I'm planning to create a video just like this, especially for Kubernetes, Jenkins, and GCP, or maybe you can AWS. I'll see what is available. Thank you.